Hi guys, welcome back. I've got some really good stuff for you this week. Just a quick run through what we're going to go through. First, I've got two athletes on the Athlete Insight new feature. Some really varied questions, just to try and get a bit more in depth to the wrestlers themselves, really. So we have that, and then we have a fun feature, which we'd locked down basically with my kids. And then we're going to go through competitions, talk about competitions. I think we're just going to go through off my experience of preparing for competitions and, yeah, mentally and physically getting ready for them. Whether it's you've just started in the sport or, you know, you've been competing for the last 3 or 4 years. I've got different pointers here and there. Hopefully it all helps. So a good one now, I'm going to do Athlete Insight. I love these two guys. Hope you do too. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Philip Stalofen, 11-time German national champion and WAF junior bronze, silver and gold medalist.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jamie the Natural Sheldon. I'm from Riverside, California, which is in Southern California, not too far from Los Angeles. Let's see, my greatest achievements in the sport of arm wrestling. I would say in 15 years, I've been involved in every major North American promotion at the bigger stages. So like the UAL when it was big, WAL now most recent. I've been lucky enough to have some success there and at least be involved in those big promotions.
My biggest inspiration, definitely my kids. So my daughter and my son, just great when your kids telling, my dad is world champ, or my dad is strong, or bring some medals home, dad. Or you want to arm wrestle, dad. That's really, really, really cool.
My greatest inspirations are my father and my kids. If I could be half the man my father is, then I know that I'll have done well for my children. So kind of chasing that. I want to be as good as he is for them. So those are my two inspirations. Chase one for the other. Keep that in life and in the arm wrestling community, right? Because you can take outside stuff, apply it to arm wrestling, better yourself all around.
My favorite exercise has been table training, but I can't do it that often because, right now COVID, but I got some shoulder problems on the right. So I like dumbbell training, it's like with power bars, and the last few months I like pronation training with the bells. So that's it, a lot of pronation, a lot of, like the normal powerlifting stuff. And I like training my back. So that's it, nothing special about it, just a lot of pronation.
My favorite exercise in the gym would have to be anything bicep or back related. I do have, actually you can see it in the mirror, I have a preacher machine, a Hammer Strength, which was from one of the gyms I used to work out at back in the day in my 20s. So this is that exact piece. I was lucky to acquire that. So arm day, 3 days a week, back day, but usually just biceps. I mean, I've broken strict curl records on my lunch break, so anything bicep related, especially this preacher machine, that's my baby right there.
My guilty pleasure, just food. I'm eating too much. I love burgers, pizza, sandwiches, ice cream, and I'm not drinking at all, so I'm just eating, and always hard to get down with the weight.
What is my guilty pleasure? Well, I am in the health and fitness business, and I'm going to admit this, I do love McDonald's. So I eat McDonald's. I grew up in the 80s. We turned out okay. We ate it once a week, once every couple weeks, and we turned out just fine. So as long as you do things in moderation, you can indulge in those things that you you crave, be it McDonald's, cheesecake, whatever it is. So I love to eat. So I guess that's not really that guilty, right? If I'm not feeling guilty about it.
Something you don't know about me, that's pretty hard because some of you guys know me pretty well, for example Ted. But I started with boxing when I was younger, so my brother brought me to training, and then I said with 16 I wanna do sparring with you, and he was heavyweight, so we never did it because it's a bad idea for me. And then he started with arm wrestling. I started later, and I said, when I'm 16, I want to beat you in an arm wrestling match. So yeah, we had, I don't know how many matches. And first time I was able to beat him in competition was when I was 24. So yeah, right now we both getting down with the weight. I was at 88, he was at 136 or something. I want to go down to 70 or 65. You want to go down to 100, and then we want to do some matches again.
Something you don't know about me, I think everybody knows that I'm a big Star Wars geek, but we'll leave that one alone. I also used to write screenplays when I was in my early 20s. I was kind of a writer. Among other things, I was in college and I was studying to be a lawyer. But I used to have a little bit of a creative aspect to my talents. So I used to write, wrote a couple screenplays. Obviously none of them became movies because I never followed through with it and decided to get into arm wrestling instead. But who knows, maybe when I'm older, we'll get back into that.
My pre-competition secret is cheesecake. I'm eating cheesecake before every competition, so I always was too nervous to eat big and good before competition. So for example, oats or vegetables, meat, ham, cheese, and then my wife did a cake before competition. So yeah, since that time I'm eating cheesecake before every competition. Keeps me strong, and when I'm cutting down weight and I'm eating the cake before competition, I'm getting big again. My arm's getting big and I'm feeling strong, and yeah, that's it. I'm eating cake, and since I'm eating cake, I haven't lost that often, so it's just cake.
Pre-tournament rituals. Okay, well, back when I was doing a lot of tournament pulling, I was pretty calm. I would just walk up to the table and pull. I mean, being in the super match format, there's a little bit more pressure. I usually don't show that. I'm pretty chill, but under the surface, I'm going crazy. So what I like to do is take a couple of my products, a pre-workout and Ignite, mix them. You're getting a bunch of caffeine, and it's delivering a crazy adrenaline rush as well. So that's my ritual. So if I'm in a big super match, usually I'm going to try to sleep most of the day and just kind of contain that energy and just isolate myself from everybody. And then 30 minutes before, load up on that stuff. And while I may not show it like a crazy person, I'm actually like this. But I like to keep myself pretty calm and chill and respectful to the referees too.
My goals for the future, definitely become stronger, and yeah, maybe getting some more world titles or Slotty Tour, yeah, staying healthy and yeah, becoming strong. When I was younger, my dream always was becoming more national titles in years, so maybe when I'm 60 I got 61 national titles. That would be cool. Yeah, and that's it. My my goal was when I was younger to become the first German junior world champion, and I did it. So I don't know what's next. Just training and getting strong.
My long-term goals, as far as the sport of arm wrestling, just to be involved, right? I guess that's the main thing. As you get older, if you're not one of the best or the best, you just want to be relevant. So I've managed to do that. I'll be 40 this year, and I'm going to stay relevant as long as I can. I've got a few people on that list at WAL that I need to beat as far as redemption. So we'll continue to do that, and if I'm lucky enough to be involved, then hey, it's all I can hope for. And like to travel a little bit, maybe hit a world championship at some point in the masters classes later on down the road. Got plenty of time, right? A little bit busy with kids and stuff like that right now, and the business, so I can't really travel too far for too long, but mainly just to stay relevant, keep training, have fun with it.
Thanks, Jamie Sheldon, and thank you, Philip Stoloffen, for the athlete insight. Hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Things to consider when you're gripping up. So elbow positions, height-wise of the hand, body position. I'll try and put it in a way that's maybe so that you yourselves, viewers, can maybe play around and look at it a little bit differently, rather than going, you want your elbow here or you want your hand here. So, for instance, if you're going against a really long lever, someone with a tall arm, you've got to consider, do I try and shorten them down? That's one thing. So that would mean fetching your elbow back as well and trying to get them to set down. But situations like that as well, or sometimes can mean you've got to make sure you've got to get a really good setup, because if the setup isn't great, then basically you're giving your hand to your opponent. Oh man, there's so much. See, I top roll with this part rather than the full arm. When I first started arm wrestling, it was always about the high knuckle, and it still is. If you're strong enough up there and you train that, then you will get struck. Well, I've had to adapt because I cut my thumb off, so now I can't wrap my thumb. It doesn't bend. So now my objective when wrestling is making sure my hand is strong enough and I can keep control of their wrist on the lower fingers. As long as I can keep control on the lower fingers, then I control the match from here. So that's why you see a lot of matches, I'll actually set there and make sure the opponent has got contact on my wrist. As long as they've got contact on the wrist, I'll follow that match wherever it goes and hope to gain dominance on the match. So you'll see me follow a lot of opponents rather than attack the pressure and lose my arm and still keep that pressure and try and my body keep going towards to gain the match. I would just keep on with that pressure and keep the back pressure applied, and all my pressure is literally coming through that finger until their wrist breaks. But yeah, you've got to find what's comfortable for you. I think that's a lot of it. Making sure the back is engaged. So, for instance, if you've hit a top roll and you start coming across, don't forget your elbow's coming away from that back then. Everything's going to stay in that position. Wherever the match is, whether it's on a winning side or a losing side, you've got to keep that back. It's all about, what's the word? Linear, in line. Everything's got to pull in a productive manner for the muscle. You've got to think about all these little things while setting up, while pulling. It's just making the body work more efficiently. Say you're a beginner, you started training with a club, you've got to the point where you can pull safely, maybe a novice competition coming up. How do you prepare for that? In my experience, number one thing is consistency. Sometimes you can get overwhelmed with the fact that the competition's coming round and you've got to try and plan for it. So, number one, you might think, yeah, I've got to train even harder. twice as hard now. All good and well. The main thing is to carry on doing just what you're doing. Okay, keep training. If you're training once, twice a week with a club, keep going at it. Enjoy it. Have fun. The early stages in the sport is where you shouldn't take it too seriously. I think that's, in my opinion, when you're enjoying it, that's when you learn the most. So keep consistent, carry on training with your club, and make sure you get plenty of rest before the competition. One of the things I wanted to talk about this week as well was people missing tournaments. Not necessarily pros, just guys getting into the sport. Some of you find that or don't think they're strong enough at the start. Maybe that's what it is. So they carry on training, keep going, keep plugging on, try and get stronger. But it's one thing they're missing, is that when you go and compete at a competition, that's better training than, say, a few months in the gym. You can learn so much from actually going there, right from, you know, the nerves getting kicked in when your weight class gets shouted up, when you go up to the table and both referees are setting you up, you know, that nervous feeling, and it's just a totally different experience. You've got to try and perform under what pressure is there. And I found when I was getting good, I still get it now. The fact that when you go to set up, you do forget things. You just naturally, you know, the mind and muscle connection. Yeah, you've got the basics, but sometimes if you're really wanting to perform a certain maneuver, certain little just angle or even your speed, you slowed down everything. I think just going up on the competition table and actually competing can be really, really worthwhile, rather than just plugging away with your club. Yeah, you'll get stronger, but you'll never get those feelings that you get from actually competing. So, tip of the week. This is, I think this could be worthwhile to everyone. So we're training hard all the time to compete. We're getting stronger, we're getting technical. But one thing sometimes that we can forget when we go to the table is to just slow things down. Rushing, basically. That's tip of the week. Don't rush. Sometimes we can be that hyped up. We're dying to get on the table. We want to wrestle. But you get to that table and you grip up and you just want to go. You just straight away, you want to be in that match. But if you've trained for 3-4 months for a big match and big tournament, you get in even if, say, you get into the final, you've got to be confident that on that go, everything is perfect. The setup's perfect. You've got the angle that you need. You've got the elbow position that you need. Everything's got to be right. So don't jeopardize that couple more seconds of, you know, maybe talking to the referee or getting set up right. Just take your time and make sure you get the setup that you're happy with, so that you can perform. So yeah, tip of the week, don't rush. And here's the new fan feature up now. Right, Sam, the upcoming WoW matches, 601. Michael Todd against Devon Larratt, who's your pick?
Michael Todd.
Okay. Tom, Michael Todd or Devon?
Devon Larratt.
Okay. Okay, next match. Eddie Hall v RVJ. Who's your pick, Sam?
RVJ.
Okay. Tom, RVJ or Eddie Hall?
Eddie Hall.
Oof. Okay. Okay, Sam. Next match up. Jamie Sheldon v Adam Wilmot.
Jamie Sheldon.
Oh, okay. Tom, Jamie Sheldon v Adam Wilmot. Who's your takes? Adam?
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. What's your favourite arm wrestling move?
The dad move.
The dad move. I think that's a Devon Larratt thing, isn't it? Sam, what's your favourite move?
Top roll.
Top roll. Just like your dad. Okay, Sam. In the sport of arm wrestling, what do you think will make the sport better?
If there was chocolate every time you got a point.
That's classic. How about you, Tom? What do you reckon?
If you come third, you get a small gift basket. You chocolate and then arm wrestling trophies and stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you come second, you get more trophies and more chocolate and sweets. And then first, you get a whole bucket load.
I like your take on things. So one thing I wanted to mention was understanding your opponents or understanding your competitors. You've got to have a rough idea who's going to be in there or what you're going to be facing. Is there going to be fast opponents? Is there going to be hookers? Is there any real strong pressers that you're going to be careful of? Other top rollers, people similar. So say if it's me imagining going into a tournament, I've got to look for guys who are similar to me. One of my big weaknesses is people who top roll similar to me. And try and go through your head what your weaknesses and what your strengths are, and up to that event, what you're going to have to be improve on, and also if anything goes wrong, what your defence is going to be against all these different guys. And it's kind of like just planning it out so that you have a better idea of what you're going to train up to the event. Rather than just going, yeah, I'm going to get strong, carry on table timing, get on the table, you've got to split it down into little sections. That's what I do anyways. And thanks for everyone watching this week. Please share and like. Thank you very much. Cheers.